But Cool Sale said Tom Brady, Trump loving ass. He said, damn. That's 334 Bama who won. Okay, so my bad, because it didn't say 334 on the email. So 334, shout out to 334 for winning the t-shirt. Barbershop Sports Talk podcast is saying Giselle is diamond Tommy Boy out. Grego said ask Steph Curry how to do it. Hasn't had a concussion since 2004, just sore shoulders. Ms. Mocha is saying, why is Giselle talking now? Yeah, it's just like, I think it was a slip of the tongue, Mocha. I just think, he caught her up and she was just like, whoops, and now it's out there. So I'm sure when she got home, I know Tom, was like, we need to talk. We need to talk. Cool Sale said she out there dry snitching on her man. Laugh out loud. Gary G Money Joyner said F Brady. Again, Grego was talking about she meant contusion instead of concussion. Corey said, nah, bruh. You just don't bring up the word concussion for no reason. That's why Corey, you're absolutely right. I can't argue that. It is the Pee Wee Playhouse magic word. When you say concussion, everybody, go crazy. So she should know. But Grego saying she don't know no better. So we'll see. Mocha said the Pacers cheating again. Grego is saying no, it's a loss of a second round pick and six figure fine. They got it. Grego, not if you playing around with concussions and how serious this injury, is on people and people, with this whole CTE thing taking a life or just dementia and all this stuff. And don't forget, even though Brady served 4 games, the NFL is still looking for some get back. So trust that. I mean, Lopan's still looking for some get back because he lost on that Super Bowl game he betted on. Indeed. So if the NFL can get back at Tom Brady, maybe, Lopan feel better, about his decision to betting on the Falcons, which I'm still hurt to this day. Indeed. Yes, Lopan, I know. Matter of fact, Lopan, didn't I loan you that money? So you owe me some money. So yeah, I need to get my money back, on it. But 334 boy, Bama boy saying I won. So yes, congratulations, 334 Bama boy. Grego saying they have an independent spotter looking for conclusions. He said conclusions. Do you mean concussions? See? Grego, that sounds like a Patriot way right there, what you just said. Looking for conclusions. Blame the NFL, not the Pats. How about the Seahawks not diagnosing Sherman injuries? Hey, Grego, this is not about the Seattle Seahawks. This is about the Patriots. So you need to handle what they are doing. You need to talk about what they are doing, Grego saying he looked up the penalty. Corey said, and the Patriots' history of cheating. So, yeah, this is going to be big. This is going to be something that's it's not just going to, go away. It's not going to just be swept underneath the rug or anything like that. I didn't want to say nothing, this is not a story that's going to be deflated. Nah, I'm not going to go that route. But this is going to stick, and they're going to be waiting on Brady at training camp, to talk about this. So we'll be talking about it, again in the soon future. And we're going to move over, speaking of future, for Tyrod Taylor. I don't know if you heard, this about the Buffalo Bills. So Buffalo, of course, we know they fired, their GM Whaley, and they picked up a new GM. And I forgot, this is Sean McDermott's homeboy out of Carolina. And he gets there, and now this is what they're saying. They're saying that this QB competition, or this QB spot, is an open competition. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to point out who's on the Buffalo Bills. Tiffany, you want some ice cream? I'll get you some ice cream. Lopan said he'll do anything for the ladies. Indeed. Yeah, so Lopan, don't be surprised if he come out there, Tiffany, with some ice cream, dripping off his hand. But the Buffalo Bills, they said that this is an open competition. Their roster is Cardale Jones, T.G. Yates, a guy named Josh Woodrum, and a brother named Peterman. Why is there an open competition? Who is coming to? Is somebody is Napoleon Dynamite's brother or uncle showing up to this QB competition? I don't get this. This brother he was a Pro Bowler and he's the most accomplished quarterback that y'all done had in the past 5, 6, 7 years or whatever, and you got an open competition. This is the problem with Buffalo. I thought with this new GM, they changing, things around. They're trying to take out the Patriots. But when you do stuff like this for someone that is on your roster that's obviously the best quarterback. I mean, this is not like you brought in Kirk Cousins or something like that, or you brought in Jimmy Garoppolo or something like that, where it's like, okay, maybe he could take this spot from Tyrod. The guys that are on this team again, Cardale Jones, T.G. Yates, Josh Woodrum, and a brother named Peterman. Why? This is how people get slapped, And Kusel just said it. Jim Kelly ain't walking through that door. Absolutely. Frank Wright ain't even walking through that door. I'll take Frank Wright right now. If you're gonna put someone to compete against Tyrod Taylor, give me Frank Wright. But with stuff like that, that's why y'all lose. That's why the Patriots always tapping that booty, because they do stupid stuff like that. Barbershop Sports Talk Podcast is saying Buffalo should just keep Tyrod. I don't see what the problem is. I don't either. I mean, the dude, he's done everything that you want. He came in with no guarantees. He was Flacco's backup, so he sat there for 4 years, and then he came in and won the starting position from all the guys that you drafted and that you already had on that team. And you still trying to tell him to prove himself. It's just like an open competition. It'd be different. It's different when you're talking about, to get your money, prove it or something like that. But you got an open competition with, I might as well go up there then. I got a chance. If that's the case, Grego said, hell, they will hire Kaepernick to distract. So you never know. Tiffany saying Seattle's going to pick up Kaepernick. I hope so, because that whole story, I'm not going to go into that story, Tiffany, but that you know what it is. This is just ridiculous, that this brother ain't on a team just competing. I ain't saying he got to start, but, being on a team to compete, that's just ridiculous. So another thing that's just ridiculous, speaking of this whole Buffalo thing, is Paul George. Paul George is, and this is what I don't understand, is I talked about this before, that it's this rumor that Paul George is already checked out and he want to go to, to the Lakers. And as things seem to be playing out with this whole thing with Lonzo Ball probably getting, drafted by the Lakers, and everything, it seems like this is just, if it's going to happen this year, if it's going to happen next year. But Paul George was on Jimmy Kimmel recently, and Jimmy had Magic on a couple weeks back, and they were talking about, getting Paul George. And Jimmy, he don't mind asking the tough questions. He's gonna ask him and put you on the spot. So he's talking to Paul George about the Lakers, but then he brings up Kobe as well, because Paul brings him up. So listen to what he's saying, with this conversation with Jimmy Kimmel.
All right, so has he winked at you yet? Does that have any impact on you? Does that have an effect on you?
No, man.
It doesn't?
I love Magic. I love Magic. Great dude.
Good, you're going to be working for us. Yeah.
I know I'm going to always get those ties, man. I'm an LA kid. Actually, at my home, Kobe is like the biggest person in my house.
Sure. What does Kobe
Not even
say?
me.
Have you talked to Kobe about coming to the Lakers?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. Not yet. No, that hasn't been a point of discussion. Not yet. Which, I'm not an English major or claim to be the smartest person in the world, but when you say not yet, to me, I take that you mean we will be talking about me playing for the Lakers. So, you know what? At this point, you know what? If I'm the Lakers, Larry Bird, I mean, not the Lakers, but the Pacers, Larry Bird had already left. So you done lost some of your leverage point with using, Larry to get talent to come there. We all know they're going to, have to draft their way, into, being a contender because that's how they got Paul George. They drafted him. And some of the other guys, that's on that team. Reggie Miller, when he played, they drafted him. So it wasn't like they got this, key free agent, to change the franchise. So this is what you're going to have to do. So right now, while you got, some players out there that you might can capitalize off of, in the draft or whatever, you holler at Boston and you say, you know what, Paul, hey, it's been real, but it's time for you to go, man, because you ain't going to keep disrespecting, my team, the players and the fans, with these comments, and then you want to say, well, I'm from LA, I'm LA, but I understand that, but you got a job, bruh. I mean, what would happen if we're at our job and we're sitting there and we start talking about another company, a competing company, and talking about, well, I haven't talked to Microsoft just yet, oh, you haven't talked to Microsoft just yet? You haven't talked to Microsoft just yet, July? Well, let me help you out, black eye. Let me get you up out of here, so it's just disrespectful, it's just like, bruh, if you want it done, go to them and say, make it happen, because I'm not going to be back next year. So it's better to get something than nothing. And here's where I want to go, and if they don't send you there, then they will get nothing, but this whole thing, you out there laughing and, and all that stuff. Hey, you want to go. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's a certain way to handle it. There's a certain way to do this and do it right. And being on TV and just out there willy-nilly is not, the way, you handle that, So I just, it's now this all sounds like how Lopan would handle stuff. Indeed. Yeah, because Lopan, you just sloppy, man. You just grimy. Indeed. Yeah, but for some reason, these women still keep messing with you. Indeed. Ooh, Lopan, so dirty. So dirty. Indeed. All right. Lopan, calm down. So, let's see. Let's jump back in the chat room, and then we'll ask another question for a free T-shirt. At this point, I think this would be a good time. So let's jump in the chat room for a second. Kusel, OJ ain't walking through that door either. Grego said Goodell and Belichick on the phone. And this is how the conversation is going, is what Grego was saying. Damn it, Bill, Giselle is running her mouth again. We can't have the face of the league with concussion issues. Bill saying, hey, I'm calling Pete Carroll for another favor. Hey, Pete, we got an issue over here. Yeah, Giselle been a pain in my ass. Can you go ahead and pick up caps so that no one will think of this Brady stuff? Pete, yeah, bud, I got you. Grego, and you thought, what? That was like a freestyle, too. You thought of that, too. And the whole script, that sounds like it may have been planned. Maybe Grego already knew about this whole concussion thing. Tiffany, Black IT Ninjaville says, Paul George wants to go to the Lakers. Yes, that is definitely, obvious, Tiffany, in his comments. Said Paul George is also considering Boston, which Boston wouldn't be a bad, situation, for him. So we'll see. Al Thompson, let's see. Appreciate Al for jumping in here. He's saying, I definitely don't want a point guard in Boston. They might be tough. Yeah. Corey saying Jelani Saban agent, does that every year and keep getting raises. So it's the American way, I guess. Grego said, Babani Jones said, to be fair, please, people use the term concussion loosely. I did see that, Grego, and you are building your case as a lawyer. So maybe, you should be the lawyer of Ninjaville, instead of the you saying the DA, but no. I think you said DA, kind of same thing, but no. The dirty lawyer, how about that? The dirty lawyer in Ninjaville. Maybe that'll, work out. Mocha Bella saying, Jelani, tell Lopan I love dirty. Lopan. Mocha says she loved dirty.
Indeed.
YouTube, get a room. Ugh. Al Tom